If you have an app on your desktop already called Flashlight, right? Name it something else, like Flashlight 2 or Flashlight version 2. Everybody with me? Okay, so click on create a new Xcode project. Everybody with me? It's a single view app. It's a single view application. It's iOS. Click on next. Give it a product name. I will call mine Flashlight. Or we could call it Xcode. Let's call it Xcode GitHub demo. Right? My team is my name. Organization, my name. Organization ID, reverse domain, language Swift, user interface, storyboard. Core data, everything else is unchecked. So far, so good. I'll click next. Here, you need to pay attention to where you save your project. If you save your project in a project that has a GitHub history already, when you try to commit, it will say, or when you try to create a repository, it will say a repository exists already. Everybody with me? If you fork one of our assessments, assignments, labs, do not put it in your Pursuit core folder. There's a Get history already. If you clone outside of your Pursuit folder, right? When you're trying to push that Pursuit folder, if it has multiple histories, it's going to give you an error. Everybody with me?
No,
your Pursuit folder, the Pursuit folder we created from Unit 1, that has a Get history already.
right.
In it, we said Get in it.
Right.
That created a Get history, right? So I cannot have multiple Get histories in one folder. Yes?
So, because in my case, right, I made a new folder for the labs, etc. So I shouldn't put all the labs in one folder.
If it's a lab that you're forking, that has a Get history already.
Literally all the labs that we did, I put in one folder.
That's fine, we'll help you to remove it. The easiest way to remove it is just remove those folders outside of the Pursuit folder.
So,
That doesn't affect anything.
so literally what you want is for us to have multiple folders down.
Yes, if it has a Get history already, it should be separate from a folder with a Get history already. We could fix that, that's not an issue. What we're doing today is not that. What we're doing today is a simple create Xcode project and push it to GitHub using Xcode. Everybody with me? Okay? If you have existing folders in a folder with Git repositories already, we could help you resolve that. It's as simple as dragging the folder outside of that Pursuit folder. Everybody with me? It doesn't affect anything on GitHub. Removing folders or moving folders around doesn't affect anything on GitHub. Great, but today, all we need to do is connect our GitHub account to Xcode, create a project, and push to GitHub. So far, so good? Okay, so let's do that. First, let's make sure that we are saving our project either in Documents, the Documents root folder, or Desktop. Everybody with me? Not inside the next folder that has a Get history already. So I will save mine on the desktop. I'll click on Desktop. I'll save mine on the desktop. You could save yours in Documents. I'll save mine on the desktop. I'll click. Before I click, I will make sure Create Get is not checked. Everybody. So that's not checked. I click Create. Great. At this point, I have my folder created. Do we see my folder? It got created on my desktop, right? I will open up Xcode so we see more space here. Okay. We'll go to Xcode, click on Xcode, where it says Xcode here, right by the Apple logo. Click on Xcode, click on Xcode. Do we all see preferences? Do we all see preferences? Click on preferences. That opens up a dialog, right? If you're not on accounts, like mine automatically open an account, you might see general, right? Do we see general? Do we see the general tab? Shania, do you see the general tab? Luba, do you see the general tab? Lilia, do you see the general tab? Next to the general tab, we have an accounts tab. Do we see that? After this lesson, you could go change fonts. If you want to change fonts in Xcode, that's where you go. You go to the fonts tab. Do we see the fonts tab? Right? Now we are going to accounts. We need to, right now I only have an Apple ID account. Do we all have at least one account in there? It's our Apple ID account, correct? That's where I go to manage my accounts. Whether it be adding an account, removing an account, whatever it is, importing an account from a different developer, that's where we go. So now I want to add. Do we see the add button at the bottom of that dialog, bottom left? Do we see the add button at the bottom left? Yulia, do we see the add button at the bottom left? Okay, very good. So click on the add button. Select the type of account you would like to add. We could create an Apple ID. We could create a server, an Xcode server ID, a Bitbucket. Remember I said there's other competitors for GitHub? Bitbucket is one of those competitors, right? We have Bitbucket, we have Bitbucket server, we have GitHub. Xcode is serving a lot, right? So here we have GitHub. This is what we want, GitHub. So select GitHub and click on continue here. It's going to ask you for your account. You put in your account username. Go to GitHub. If you forgot your account username, go to GitHub. So I'll put my account username and I'll put in my password. Those are GitHub credentials. Your GitHub username and your GitHub password. So we enter in our GitHub account and our username and our password. And I'll click sign in. And like that, I signed into my GitHub successfully. It shows me my Apple ID, well, not my Apple ID, sorry. It shows me my account name, and it shows me my description on GitHub. And automatically, Mr. Dan, it goes to HTTPS. Automatically, it's secure. HTTPS is secure. Or the S on the end there is a secure URL. Yes. All right, so do not change any other configurations here. We're done. At this point, we've successfully added our GitHub account. Everybody? Okay, so now close that dialog. Close the dialog box. Close the dialog box. And go to source control. At the very top of Xcode, we have Xcode, file, edit. To the very last, we have help. Going back, we have window. And we see source control, correct? GitHub is a source control versioning system, correct? So source control, that's where we manage our GitHub stuff. So we could click on source control. At this point, we should see create Git repositories. Do we see that? Do we see that? So click on create Git repository. This creates a local Git. This is very similar to doing get init in terminal, right? When we go to terminal, we say get init, it creates a local repository. So in Xcode, we have that at our disposal. So here we create Git repository. At this point, the only thing you want to do is create because it automatically checks our project. Is our project selected? Right, my project here is selected. I click on create. At this point, it's created a Git repository for me. So far, so good? Now, let's go to the navigation area. If your navigation area is closed, when I'm talking about the navigation area, yes, sir?
Real quick, it said something in the, when I first created, it said no author information was provided.
Let's keep going through it and see if we have any other issues as far as the author information. Okay? Fix it. If it gives you a fix it, click on the fix it there. All right, if it asks you for a fix it and put in your name. Everybody? Okay, cool. At this point, second day of iOS development, we know where our navigation area is. That column to the left, right, everybody? If it's closed, we know how to open it, right? We go to our right menu and we click on it to close it. We click on it again to open it. So make sure you're able to view your files. Are you able to view your files? Are you able to view your files, Yulia? You're not able to add your email. We'll come around and double check with you. Your account, your username. Oh, so you probably need to go to your account. Maybe you attempted too many times for your password, so you need to change your password. We'll come around and help you individually. Let's get through it, and then we'll come around to help you. Yes, question?
Do you have to add the @ sign or?
The @ sign. No @ sign. Yes, sir. Right now, we're in the Xcode project. Make sure you have your navigation area open, where you see your files and folders on the left side. So far, so good. Okay. If we navigate, we see the project folder. The project folder is the first icon above the files. Do we see the project folder? That blue project folder there, the very top. Right? Let me zoom in. Do we see the project folder icon? Right? Next to it, we have Source Control Navigator. So click on the Source Control Navigator. Click on the Source Control Navigator, which is right next to the folder navigator. Right? We have folder navigator, we have source control. So click on Source Control Navigator. We clicked on it. Right? Anna? All right, cool. So at this point, right click on where it says Xcode Project Master, Xcode GitHub Demo Master. Right click on it. Right click on it. Yes. Right click on it. Do we see a menu pop up? In the menu, do we see Create Xcode GitHub Demo Remote? Let me zoom in. Let's go back. Do we have all the project files showing up?
Yeah.
Did you create a Git repository?
That's what I'm missing.
Source control, go to source control,
Right.
and click on Create Git Repository.
It says no author information.
Fix it. Click on the Fix It button.
Oh, and I put my name, right?
Yeah.
And which email do I put? Which email would I put?
Put in your GitHub email.
What email that I use?
Yes, yes. How are we doing? Can we continue? Your Gmail email, whichever email you use to sign up to GitHub.
And
The
then
one you use to sign up to GitHub? Which one did you put? Okay, that's fine. Question. I did not do anything. I stopped because some people were still working on it. So we haven't done that step yet. Okay?
after the email, it says ignore files and options.
That's fine. Do not check that. Just click Create or click Done. Okay, how are we doing? Can we continue? Can we continue? Okay, so let's go back to source control. Source control, well, not source control up here, sorry. Let's go to source control in the navigation area. Right, click on it. Let me zoom in. Yulia, do we see navigation area? Do you have all your project files showing? She hasn't connected to GitHub. Okay, she needs to connect to GitHub first. At this point, okay, let's continue and we'll help anybody else who is still working on it. So click on our source control bar. Do we see Xcode GitHub Demo Master? Right? Okay, right click on it. Do we see Create Xcode Remote? Click on Create Remote. At this point, you should get a dialog box coming up, right? It shows account information, right? It shows owner. It shows repository name. Right there, you could edit the repository name if you want. Whatever the repository name here is, when you go to github.com and you go to your repositories, that's the name you see. So remember, the name that you see on GitHub could be different from the project. Everybody with me? Right? So here you could edit the repository name. You could give it a description. It's good to give it a description. We'll say,
Wait, can you go back to when I go to source control?
for description, we'll say connecting Xcode to GitHub and pushing an Xcode project to GitHub, right? We could edit description later. Visibility, let's talk about visibility. Do you want it to be public, anybody could see it, or do you want it to be private, right? Private or public, right? For now, we'll keep it public. Public is anybody could see it. Everybody with me? So we'll keep it public. And at that point, we'll just click. I'm sorry? Remote name, keep origin the same. This is master by default, keep it the same. Click create. At this point, you want to click on create. Click on create. At this point, you see it's pushing to GitHub. You see the pushing wheel? If the connection is very fast, you won't even see the spinning wheel. All right, at this point, let's go to GitHub. Let's navigate to github.com. Navigate to github.com. Navigate to github.com. Are we on our GitHub page? Click on repositories. At this point, you should have your GitHub. Right, everybody? Right? Excellent. So now we could create a Readme. Everybody click on your project. Are we all on that page here? Do we see the Add Readme button? Click on the Add Readme button. Click on the Add Readme button. Right? You could put a space in between the header here and connecting Xcode. Right now we're in edit mode. So far so good? We're in edit mode. If we scroll all the way down, scroll all the way down, scroll all the way down, do we see commit new file? Just go ahead and click on the commit new file green button. Click on the green button. Right? Do we see two commits? Click on the two commits. And here, initial commit. The initial commit is from what? From Xcode, right? And the create readme, that's from the edit we just did. So far, so good? Okay, which is more advanced? Is it github.com or is it Xcode? Which has most commits? Github.com, right? How do we make our local repository sync? How do we sync it up? How do we get changes from the remote repo? Get pull, right? Somebody said it in the back. So get pull. We want to get pull from Xcode. Because right now, github.com has more changes than our local remote repository. So far, so good? Our local repository is behind. Our remote repository is ahead by one commit. So now we go to Xcode. Let's go to Xcode. Go to Xcode. Click on source control at the top, the very top menu. Click on source control. Do we see pull there? So click on pull. It's going to pull your changes from GitHub. Go ahead and pull down. Right? Pull, that's going to pull changes, right? As you pull changes, if you click on your project navigator, click on the source control in your project navigator. Everybody, I see all my files. I click on the source control button in the project navigator. Do you see the commits here? Right? So here we also see our commits in Xcode. Right? So Xcode has the ability that Terminal has as far as like pushing to GitHub, pulling back from remote. Let's do one edit. Go to your project files. Let's go to github.com. Click on your repo, the repo we just created. Click on the repo. Do you see Xcode GitHub demo folder? Do you see Xcode GitHub demo folder? Not the Xproj, the demo folder. Do we see that? Click on it. Do we see a view controller? Do we see a view controller? Click on the view controller. Right? We see our view.load function, correct? Okay, so now let's do an edit in Xcode and push that edit up to GitHub. So far, so good? So we'll go back to our Xcode project, we'll edit a small change in view.load, and we'll go back to GitHub to verify that change, okay? And we'll wrap up that particular lesson there. So far, so good? Okay, so go to Xcode, go to your view controller. We get to our view controller using the navigation area where our files are. Click on your view controller. Are we all in our view controller? Let me make this a little bigger here, sorry. Okay, at this point we're all in our view.load function, correct? In my view.load, I'll simply I'll change the view's background color. So view.background color. You could change it to any color you wish. Any color you wish. I will stick on orange. I'll make mine orange. So view.load, view background color equal to orange. So far, so good, right? We know if we run this, it will be orange, correct? So at this point, I want to make a commit. So if I want to make a commit in Xcode, I want to make a commit, I go to source control. Source control, right at the very top of Xcode. I go to source control. Do we see source control right by debug? Click on source control. Click on commit. I want to make a commit, so I click on commit. Click on commit. Right? I click on commit, and look at this. We have what we just added and what we had before. What we had before is on the right side. Everybody sees that. If you click on commit, go to source control, click on commit. Did you edit your view.load? Luba, do you see it? Let's exit out of here. Did we edit our view.load? Did we add view background color equal to orange? Go to source control. Did you pull, by the way? Okay, click on source control. Do we see commit? Click on commit. Click on commit. What do you see? Click on the one that has a check mark on it. If you're not seeing the code we have, click on the file. Let's go back. So click on source control, click on commit, right? And click on the file that has a check mark on it. There's a file here that says view controller. Do we see view controller in the left column? Click on it, and that shows you the two panes with the differences. Everybody sees that. The left is what I edited. The most recent change is on the left, right? On the right is what was before, right? So I see the change that I just made. I edited my file. I added that line on line 17 here. So I just write a commit. Change background color. So let's go ahead and add a commit. You add the commit at the very bottom where it says enter commit message. Do we see enter commit message here? Click on that and start typing in your commit message. So type in your commit message. So here we'll say changed background color. So we added a commit message. We added a commit message, change background color. Did everybody add a commit message? Very good. So now, do you see the very bottom right? Do you see a commit file? Click on that commit file. Click on that commit file at the very bottom right, where it says commit one file. So far, we've only done one change in one file. Click on that. We've done a change. How do we push it? We've done a change. How do we send that change to GitHub? What? Push, right? So we push. We do get push. So go to source control. Click on source control again. Do we see push? Click on push. Click on push. At that point, it's pushed your changes to GitHub. So here, I'll click on push. Push local changes to master. Master, we only have one branch. We'll talk about branches. So I just push this. I click on push. It's pushing. And it's pushed. Let's verify on GitHub. Let's go to github.com. Let's go to github.com now. Refresh. Basically, refresh that page. Right now, my page doesn't have any view background color. So far, so good. I'll refresh that page. And now, look at that. So I was able to communicate between Xcode and GitHub without using terminal. Everybody with me? So today, that's what we did. And that's the next way to use GitHub and Xcode, tying the two of them together. But for now, stick with terminal. But that's a way we'll use later when we're more comfortable with terminal. So far, so good? Because you need to be able to go through both of them. But as for now, I would rather you use terminal. So far, so good? But we are able to do using Xcode. Yes? So I'll stop here.